Hello, everybody. This is a Lamley preview. Hot Wheels Car Culture Race Day. It's the fourth mix of Car Culture in 2023. Don't think we're going to finish all of the mixes before the actual 2023 is out. I think we're going to see some of these mixes bleed into 2024, but who cares? We're here with the new Race Day. What have we had? Speed Machines, then Spettacolari, Canyon Warriors, which is just about to hit, and now Race Day, which I don't think will be far behind Canyon Warriors when it comes to hitting stores, hobby dealers, you name it. This came from Mattel, so I can preview it for you. I don't have the chase car. It is actually the Porsche, but I do have images of the chase car, so we'll get to that. And I thought I'd do something fun because this is actually a repeat. We've had Japan Historics repeated, Modern Classics repeated, Drag Strip Demons. There's probably other mixes that have come and gone more than once, right? But this is the second issue of the Race Day logo. There it is on the first mix. Obvious differences here. This is actually from the very first year, 2016, of Car Culture when they did Race Day. And there's some real similarities here, which we'll get to, especially in the card art, and obviously some differences. The most obvious being the card art size, right? They upgraded after a couple years to the larger full premium. There's also smaller details that those of us who've been collecting for a while know that these were considered kind of a medium premium at the time when they was first introduced, Car Culture. And so it meant metal chassis, real riders, but sometimes incomplete deco. So no taillights. Don't think any headlights on this, although on the Porsche 914 that's a little different. But nonetheless, they weren't totally complete. So we're going to actually go one by one with these models, and I mean, you can pick a winner. I think, quality-wise, this will win. But whatever. This is a good way of kind of throwing back to old Car Culture, which I think is kind of fun to do. Now, one thing that I think is really cool that we'll get to right now, which is a similarity to the original Race Day, let's see, we've got, I don't know which one is number one. Here is, actually, number one is right in front of us. So I want you to take a look at the artwork. I'll show you this. This is the back from the set that Mattel sent me. There's that, although that won't be relevant for a minute. But take a look at the Porsche. This is the Porsche 935. And if you look at it, obviously it's a racing car motif, right? It's on the track. But if you look kind of behind it, you'll see a car in the background. Let me get that in focus. And then if you look even further back, there's another car in the background. And this is something that Julian Coyles did with the original Race Days. You actually see images of all the cars as you start looking at the card art. So this is number 1 of 5. Now behind that is the Aston Martin. So if you pull out the Aston Martin, there it is. You're not going to see the Porsche because it's ahead of it, but the Audi R8 is behind that. And so if you go to the Audi R8 over here, you can see it's there. In fact, if you look in the foreground, there is the Aston Martin. Kind of see that right there. Is the foreground is the Aston Martin. Behind that, looks like it is the Ford Capri. The Group 5 Capri is right behind that. So let's go there. And sure enough, in the foreground is the Audi R8. There is the Ford Capri. And behind that, finishing up number 5 in the number 5 position, is the AMG Mercedes C-Class DTM touring car. And there you can see that the Capri is right there. Isn't that cool? Now, I don't think you can, I mean, it's almost like a picture was taken, right? Kind of way you look at it like that, right? You can't necessarily put it all together, but it's like a picture was taken and then the focus changes with each bit of card art. It's just absolutely brilliant. Just super, super cool card art. And that's what happened with Race Day. In fact, I had these holding them up. So let's go to that's number 4. Let's find number 1. Here it is, 78. Porsche 935 78. There it is. Obviously, it looks like the art has, been refined a little bit. But if you look in the background, you can see actually 3 cars. Actually, all 4 cars in the background. You can see, and then we'll just do it real quickly. 1 of 5. Where's number 2? That's number 5. Number 2, there's the Mazda RX-3. Behind that, you can see the Porsche in the foreground. Then you can see the 914 in the background. Of course, the 914 shows up with the RX-3 there. Behind that is another Porsche, which would be the number 4, the Gretti Porsche 962. There's the 914 ahead of that, and behind that, if you see, you can see the Advan logo on the Acura NSX. And that is here. Isn't that just awesome? Just love that. And I love that, you know, the race day theme was brought back. The same artwork was brought back. It's just, I love these throwbacks. I love this kind of callback to the artwork and everything else. And obviously we've got track cars here, and let's get to it. So let's start with number one. We mentioned the Porsche. It is the 935. It is a casting that goes from basic to premium. It debuted in basic last year. It was a Target Red edition. I think were there 3 different colors? I think it was with the Target Red edition. Now it goes premium. This is also the Chase. We've looked at the artwork, but this is a different one. I'll show you the Chase right now so we can get that done. If I get the Chase later, in fact, I have some ideas that I'm going to use the Chase for. That's for another time. But you can see, obviously, the Chase is very different. The first Chase every Chase they've done since they started this last year is obviously black. That's how they do the Chases, but they use the same deco. They just go pretty much straight black, maybe with some color detailing, but not really, just kind of a black and white. But in this case, they just change the deco entirely. They go from the KW suspensions all the way to just the black deco that we've seen on the 935 before. So this is a special, like, kind of treat for Porsche, a special homage to Porsche, and they've done that special to acknowledge its anniversary, which I think is very, very cool. But this is the regular version, so you'll know when you see the Chase. I mean, you always do, it's black, but this one is the first very distinct, different version of a Chase car to the actual 935. So this is the KW. Let's check number one. Where is that? There's a lot of Porsches in this first set. So we actually have 935 versus 935, so you can pick the winner here. You've got the, I mean, actually, becomes a little tough. The 935 78-78 is an older casting, but it is in the Momo livery, and it looks fantastic. I could do without the large wheels in the back. Looks a little bit out of proportion, but still very, very cool casting, and anything in Momo is fantastic. And then you've got the KW here, number 23, obviously the year with the Porsche detailing here, purple and white, BBS on the back. It's more detailed because it's got more deco, because it's the more premium. I mean, I think in every case, the new one's going to win, at least for me. But I do like that one, so we'll put that one off the side. That is number one. Number two, Aston Martin Vantage GTE, another car that has gone from basic to premium. Not a car that I got too excited about in basic, but now that it gets full details, now we start talking, right? Now we see some really cool, like the casting starts to pop. This is one of those castings that the more deco you, well, come on, all castings, the more deco you get, the better. But this one really, really improves. Where's number two? Yellow versus yellow. More of a highlighter yellow on the Aston Martin, but we get the Mazda RX-3 here. RX-3 is cool. It debuted in the first mix of what was it? Japan Historics, right? Very first mix. I haven't seen it in a while. Moved over to basic, kind of trading spots with the Aston Martin in a sense. Love that casting. Love this deco. Didn't get the full details on it, but it's still very cool. But once again, just because casting that, yeah, it's growing on me now that I have premium. Very, very happy to have this in the Car Culture collection, the Aston Martin Vantage GTE, and I think it looks great. Number three. Third version of the Audi R8 LMS? I think so. Love the deco on this one. Haven't seen it. I think this is the first one that debuted. This is one that debuted in the first year of Car Culture, if I remember correctly. Maybe the second, but early on. Then we saw a second version. I think this is the third of the Audi R8 LMS. It's got the Audi Sport deco on it. I think this is loosely based on a deco that we've seen before. Am I correct on that? I think so. Looks awesome. Number 3 of 5. Where's our number 3 in the original mix? I'm looking for you. There it is. Oh. 914 is a nice casting. Started in garage, I think, but I'm gonna go. Well, I'll take a look at it. It actually is the Urban Outlaw deco, so the Magnus Walker deco. We've seen on a lot of Porsches, so it hits here. I think we'd seen it on a couple before this. Pretty clean, all things considered, for the 914. But a casting then we saw then, and I don't know if we've even seen it since. But once again, just because of the way the deco's done and how well it's done, the execution of the Audi R8 LMS wins. And I just love this wrap look. Occasionally they do this wrap look on these cars, and it looks so good. I think I'm like the HKS Skyline, that sort of thing. I dig this when they're able to do it, and I think that one looks fantastic. All right. One new casting in this mix, And here it is, number 4 or 5. Surprised it didn't get the number 5 position. Most of them do, the new castings. But it is the Ford Capri Group 5. This was designed by Phil Reelman. He previewed it at the convention when we did that video. And it's nice to see a classic Ford race car. Ford Motorsports on this deco. Maybe I'll do another Ford Motorsports video. But this thing looks so good. Love the would you call those gold or copper rims with the chrome lips on them? Huge spoiler. This casting is so good. And I know a lot of my friends that are classic race car fans that just love this kind of era are going to be all over this model. To the point that I think this might be the highlight of the case because it is the new model. Where's number 4? It's a tough one, right? I mean, these two cars could be going side by side, couldn't they? The 962 and the Ford Capri. Again, Gretty looks so good here. This one is missing some details, but not a ton. It looks really good, but the Ford Capri once again wins. So 4 for 4 on the new mix, not a big surprise. I think that thing looks amazing. And lastly, it was my favorite premium of last year, and we finally get the second version. The number 5 of 5 is the 1994 AMG Mercedes C-Class DTM touring car. Such an amazing casting. And this one gets another amazing deco. If the original, if you remember, it was in the D2 livery, had the wrap look last year, just loved it so much. Looks so good. And now, I mean, 2 for 2 on this casting. To the point that the best model of race day was this redone Acura NSX, which was done with a new metal base, and it looks so much better than the basic version. And it does look good. I mean, it's also an Advan livery, which is a no-brainer. Looks incredible, but that's your winner. I do like the rims on this one. I like how it's done. This is just a phenomenal, phenomenal model. Looks beautiful in yellow. Looks classic on the racetrack. I love this casting. I mean, I just love the Mercedes castings. I think I'm going to do a video on Mercedes here soon. But this thing looks amazing. And like I said, 2 for 2. Highlight, for me, it has to be this one. It just has to be, just because I love the casting. But the Ford Capri is also a real treat. Really digging the Porsches as well. I mean, it's a good mix. I think the Aston Martin and the Audi, I think those are going to hang if anything hangs. But nothing does hang anymore, does it? I think it is great. You guys tell me what you think. Which mix wins? The new race day or the classic race day? You guys can tell me. And then from there, from the new set wins? Is it the Capri? Is it the Mercedes? You into the Porsche 935? No complaints there if you are. Thank you, everybody. Bye.